Hello guys, welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to see what is a insert statement in SQL. So, what is an insert statement? Insert statement are used to insert a record or row into a SQL table. So, why do we use it? In what scenarios? I can give you a very common scenario that we all do. One is anytime you go to a website, they ask you to they collect your user information, your first name, last name, address, and all other information. So what they do is they collect all this information, then they use an insert statement to insert into a SQL table. So now I'm going to give you a generic SQL statement. The insert statement could be complicated in terms of what type of table you are using. If in case you are using partition tables, which is really out of scope for this tutorial, but your insert statement can be little bit complicated. But with in this tutorial, we are just going to see a insert statement that is used 80 to 90% of the time in any application. So how do you write an insert statement? So I'm going to give you a generic syntax. You start with the insert keyword followed by the into keyword, and then you give the table name, and followed by you give all the field name in the table. A table can contain multiple fields, so your field 1, field 2, field 3, etc. And then you use the values keyword, and then you give all the values. So value 1, value 2, and value 3, etc. So let's go and try to insert a row in a simple table that I have already created. So what's a table name? The table name is called employee. So let's select this table, and here you should see this table has 7 rows. So let's go and try to insert a row into this table. So let's try to follow the same pattern that I gave earlier. So it's going to be insert into, the table name is employee, then you give all the field name. Here it's employee ID, employee first name, employee last name, employee create date, and then the employee state. So these are the columns in your table, and then you give all the values. So the employee ID here is 7, so let's make it 8, right? And the first name is, let's call this person as Gareth Leonard, and then we have the employee create date. I will use the now function. So what this function does is it inserts the current date and time, and then followed by the state. So let's make it New York, NY. So we are all set to insert a row into this table. So let's see what happens when we run this statement. So when you run it, you should see a row being inserted with the employee ID called 8. So cool. I see this row with the first name Gareth and last name Leonard. So this is one way of inserting a row into the table. There is other variation of it. For example, if you have assumed that you have 2 tables, and you want to insert the rows into the first table by using the rows in the second table. So what I mean here is, let's take the other table. So I have this two row, right? uh, in the first row, in the uh, in the first query, we did a select star of employee. So you see here 8 rows, right? And in your second table, you have one single row. uh, the employee ID is 20 and the first name is Lisa Taylor. And what you want to do is you want to insert the row from your second table into your first table. So you basically want to move this row 20, employee ID 20, Lisa Taylor, into this table. So one way is you can write a insert statement replacing Gadatha with the Lisa Taylor, but that's more like manual. Assume that you have another 20-30 rows in this table, and you don't want to insert each row at a time. So what you do in that case is, so you insert into the employee table, the syntax is all same, and then you give a select statement saying that select star from employee test. So what this one does is it inserts into the employee table. What rows it inserts? It takes all the rows from the employee test table. So what does the employee test table contains? It contains Lisa Taylor. So let's run this query and see whether it works or not. Cool, it worked. I didn't throw any error. So let's go and select the employee table and see whether we have Lisa Taylor being inserted. Wow, cool, it worked. So you see the row from employee test table, which is Lisa Taylor, is being inserted into this table. So that's it, guys. So we have two variants of insert statement. One is the direct insert, and then you can take rows from a different table. In fact, you can, if you want to insert some data using a file, you have a slight variation of it. And I'm not going to discuss about this in this chapter because we are going to keep it very simple. I'm going to have another tutorial to see how we can insert file into the table. So thanks for watching my tutorial, guys. You can pass on some comments, or if you like it, just click the like button. Thanks very much. Bye.